If you just downloaded a motion graphics template or MoGart, you might be wondering, how do I install it, use it, and get the most out of it? And I'm gonna be answering all of those questions in today's video. Once you've downloaded a template, you should be able to find it inside of your downloads folder, whether you're on a PC or a Mac. But you should also see that they're in what's called a zip folder. If you're on a Mac, opening it is super easy. Just double click on it. But if you're on a PC, you need to right click on it and select Extract All. This will bring up a window like this, and you can choose exactly where you want your new folder to end up. Setting the exact location here isn't crucial, it's just important that you know where it ends up so you can find it again really easily afterwards. So for the moment, my desktop will work great for me, but if you have a folder where all of your video project materials are already being held, putting it there would also be a better option. Great, now let's go inside of this folder here and I'll show you what you should expect. You should see a folder called MOGRT, which will hold the MoGart files that you'll be using inside of Premiere Pro. There should be a fonts folder, which should contain a link to the same font that was used for the template in any promotional or example materials. And finally, you should see a help folder, which will contain a video tutorial as well as a text document with media placeholder links, maybe some sound effects or music links if applicable, as well as any other information that you might find helpful. Okay, so now that you know what your folder has in it, how do you actually use these MoGart files in Premiere Pro? I'm gonna show you, and to start, let's just open up Premiere Pro together. Once it's open, you have to install your motion graphics files into the Essential Graphics panel of Premiere Pro. Don't worry, this is pretty easy to do. You can do this by selecting the MoGart files found in your MoGart folder of the package that you just downloaded. Now you can highlight all of the ones that you want to install and drag and drop them right into the Essential Graphics panel. It's just that easy. Now the other option is you can go to the Browse section of your Essential Graphics panel and install them directly from here. Now, if you have trouble finding your Essential Graphics panel, you can find it easily by going up to Window, Essential Graphics, and clicking on it will bring it up and highlight it. Now, at the bottom right of this panel, you should see a little plus icon. And if you click here on it, you can now navigate to your motion graphics files that you want to import and click on them to open them up. Regardless of which method you choose, you should see these MoGart files now in your Browse section of your Essential Graphics panel. But if you already have a lot of materials and you're having trouble finding it, then you can use the search bar to type in the name of it to find it a lot faster. Great. Now, how do you start using it? You'll need to create a sequence first, but thankfully that's really easy. All you have to do is go up to File, New, Sequence. And for me, I'm just gonna select a 1080p sequence here, but really you could almost select anything because of what I'm gonna be showing you next. Now, having created your new sequence, all you have to do is choose the MoGart file you wanna put on your timeline and drag and drop it there. Now, if your sequence settings aren't exactly lined up with what your MoGart template is set for, you can choose to keep your sequence exactly the way it is, or you can choose to have your sequence change to exactly match the settings of your MoGart sequence. This will include things like the resolution and the aspect ratio of your MoGart template, as well as things like frame rate. So for me, I'm gonna choose to change my sequence to match my MoGart template. And there we go. Now you've placed it onto your timeline and you can watch it through to see that it seems like it's working, but there's a lot of pieces missing. This is where you can insert your own media to make the template truly your own. But this requires you to import your own media into Premiere Pro to start with. And so I'll show you a couple different ways that you can do that. One option is that you can go up to File, Import, and select the image or video files that you want to use in the template. But the method that I prefer is to simply drag and drop these from your computer directly into your project panel here. Nice. Now with these imported, you can start to actually place them into the template you've downloaded. If you select the template you placed down into your timeline, and then go up to the Essential Graphics panel, to the Edit section, you can see that you have a lot of different options to customize and work with your MoGart template. The first and most important piece is that you can drag and drop your image or footage into a media slot here. By doing this, you can see that the template starts to come to life and immediately starts working with the footage you've given it. We can also adjust the size and position of our media here using these parameters. Nice. You'll probably also see that there might be other options, like text for example. Here we have some text that appears over top of our footage, and to change that up, all we have to do is type out our text here, just like we would work with inside of a text document. We also have the ability to control font and font style here, along with size and positioning of your text. Cool. In a lot of these Mogart style templates, you should also have a section specifically designed for a logo. In my particular example here, there's actually only one media slot, and there's an entire separate template designed specifically for a logo. So while your solution might be to find the media slot labeled logo, for me, I'm gonna choose the new template that actually says logo. So you can see here that the logo already shows up, but that's a logo that's already installed into the template. If we select the template here on our timeline, we can see that there's two media slots, one that's empty, and one with an already existent logo. To replace it, all you have to do is go down to the logo that you want to insert, then go back up to Essential Graphics, and drag and drop it into this slot here. And it'll immediately be used in your template. Additionally, these templates, which include a section for logos, will likely also have a checkbox for keeping the original color of the logo, versus having it naturally integrated into the colors and styling of the rest of the template. And that's a really good point to jump into the next section, color control. Most templates will have a lot of parameters for the color of different elements within the template. I'm just going to go back here to the original template we've already added our media to. And by adjusting things like color here, you can see that it changes the color of the template in real time. And this allows us to really change up and adjust the style to our liking. All of these should be clearly labeled so that you can see what piece of your template is being changed, like the text color, for example. You can select a new color by either clicking on this swatch and manually selecting a color and shade that you like, or you can also have the option to type in a hexadecimal code to select an exact color. This is a great option if you have specific branding requirements that you need to abide by. You also have the final option of being able to use the eyedropper tool to click on a specific color that's already visible on your computer as a reference, sort of like stealing the color from this particular item. Having all of these options available to you can help you to really dial in the exact color of what you need for your project. In addition to these color pickers and color selection tools, you may also see other options like checkboxes to turn on or off certain filters, sort of like the original logo color option we saw before. There's also options like angle selectors, as well as other possible features like drop-down menus to potentially choose an entirely new layout for some specific templates. Now, there are also going to be some Mogarts that are well suited to cutting out part of your image. Say for example, if you have a still image and you want to include only a specific portion of it. It's a cool effect, but it does require you to cut out your footage with the pen tool, so let me show you how to do that quickly. Start by dragging and dropping the image that you want into the media slot of the template that you're using. Then, once you're ready, double click on it. This will bring you to a place where that piece of media is on its own timeline. Here, you can cut it out with the pen tool by selecting it by going to the Effects Controls section and clicking on the little pen tool icon here underneath the opacity section. Now all you have to do is click to make the first point of your mask and click to make more points, joining them together in a line. Once you connect the last point to the first, your mask will be created and allow everything inside to be seen while making everything outside invisible. So let me continue going around this shape of my subject, and also keep in mind that you can click and drag with your pen tool to get rounded corners rather than jagged edges. But for this template style, the jagged edges actually work in my opinion. Great, now let's connect it back to the beginning, and let's go over here to the Effect Controls panel to play around with the feathering of the mask to really make it feel perfect. And for me, I want to make it a little bit more sharp in my case by decreasing the amount of feathering. And if you wanted to, here's where you can also change the kind of mask so that instead of having what's on the inside showing, you can select inverted and have what's on the outside showing. Great. Now, if you wanted to show even more than just what you've already cut out, you can just add more masks and show even more areas than just the one subject you already cut out. But once you're ready to see your final product, just go back to the original sequence that you started in. Guys, I really hope that this video has been able to help you get the most out of your motion graphics template, whether you want them to stand alone or to be integrated into a larger video project. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to see all the amazing things you're going to use this to create.